This is big for the Celtics and is way better than we thought, as Al Horford and this Boston Celtics team came out on fire and beat the undefeated Cleveland Cavaliers last night. And even though there were some question marks thrown around Namus Keita and why Luke Cornett did not play in this game, Celtics head coach Joe Mazzulla rebuked those claims and gave some good supporting on why Namus Keita deserved those minutes in getting that time. So we're going to be diving in, looking at this Celtics big man group as a whole in general, looking at Al Horford, Namus Keita, and Luke Cornett, and kind of diving in on what the implications are for this big man group going forward in the future. With all of that, let's dive into the video at hand today. Make sure to grab a snack. Like I said in the introduction, this is something you do not see every single day, and the Celtics went out and dethroned that beast, as we saw the Cleveland Cavaliers coming in to this regular season, starting off 15-0, having the fourth best record in the entire NBA's history. And they waltzed in to the TD Garden to take on the defending NBA champions Boston Celtics, who are still without Kristaps Porziņģis, and they suffered their first loss of the season. And not only players like Jaylen Brown and Jayson Tatum really step up and deliver, but a big caveat in the Celtics' success last night was veteran Al Horford, who not only has been proving to be that fantastic six-man type of player for this Celtics team off the bench when Kristaps Porziņģis is playing, but he also is being a fantastic filler in as a starter for this team at 38 years old as well. If we want to dive in and look at the stats of last night's game, like I mentioned, the Celtics came out and beat this Cavaliers team, but the main story is Al Horford, who shot 7-11 from the field, finished with 20 points. But not only did that, was able to grab 7 rebounds, an assist, and multiple blocks for this Boston Celtics team, not only providing key integral scoring for this Celtics team from the three-point range, from the mid-range, but also being a key impact player on the defensive side as well. And we've seen Al Horford really dominate for the Celtics on both aspects of this game. But as he's gotten older, we've kind of seen him transition into what I would say is dominating on one side of the floor per se. Some nights being better on the offensive side, hitting some threes. Some nights being that top tier defender going up against Giannis Antetokounmpo and making sure he's taking his matchup seriously and playing the best defense of his life. But Horford in tonight's contest was able to showcase both under his umbrella, which was key for the Celtics to win, and key for the Celtics as well with this whole big man group situation. If you guys missed our recent video, Godfrey went in and talked about Kristaps Porziņģis, as he's obviously rehabbing with the main Celtics, trying to get back in. He's been practicing with them and is going into his next phase of his injury recovery. And the reports are that he'll be back in December. We'll have to wait and see ultimately when he comes back, as there's no set timetable for his exact return. But a Kristaps Porzingis insertion will automatically take the Celtics team up the top. So with them having a top tier record, beating the only undefeated team in the NBA still without one of their better players, just only goes to show you that this team is still rock solid and is still one of those teams that everybody should be looking out and fearing. I know through the offseason, a lot of people want to discredit the Celtics championship run for the opponents they ran into. They also wanted to discredit the Celtics in being a top tier contender with, the Knicks and the Sixers and all these teams stacking up. And oh, look at that Western Conference, it's going to be tough. But the Celtics are proving to the world and to the entire NBA that they are the team to beat and should be the team that everyone will be looking out for. Jayson Tatum's been balling out, Al Horford's been balling out, and it's been key for the Celtics. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section on the great performance that Al Horford had for the Celtics team and how he's been able to do this, because it's been absolutely nuts that a player in Al Horford, who's, like I said, 38 years old, is still putting up numbers like this and can still be a starter in the NBA. I love to see it. But let's dive into the more news, looking at Stop the Hate and Where Was Luke, as we saw for the game last night that Neemias Queta, one of the Celtics bigs who got extended run in this game for his, really solid gameplay over the last couple of instances and showings, has earned himself a bigger role within this Celtics rotation. And we saw him insert himself into this lineup in the game versus the Cavaliers. And to be honest, Neemias Queta didn't have the best performance for the Celtics. The only big man brought off the bench for the Celtics came in with a minus 15. Could get some rebounds, could get some blocks, but looked a little bit lost outside there defensively. Wasn't having the best game, and A lot of fans were looking saying, where's Luke Cornett? Where's Luke Cornett? Why aren't we playing Luke Cornett? We have another backup big. We have Xavier Tillman. What are we doing? Why are we just running out with Neemias Queta? And Joe Mazzulla had some stuff to say on that as well, courtesy of a quote from Noah Dalzell, in which the third quarter, the Cavaliers started to mount a little bit of a comeback. The Celtics were up 17 at halftime, looking like they had this under control, and this is where things kind of look a little sloppy with Neemias Queta. But Joe basically putting out there, from paraphrasing this quote here from Noah, basically saying that he's going to let his players try, let his players go out there and let his players work. And they can only grow if they only see their mistakes and get better for them. So for having Neemias be in a situation in which he's uncomfortable and he isn't used to, with him seeing what to do and what to get better and kind of get that learning experience with actual game time instead of just seeing it in film and seeing it behind the scenes, will actually allow him to realize what he needs to fix and what he does need to get better to earn those long-term minutes. And Joe's been a big believer in Neemias. I've been a big believer in Neemias, and a lot of other Celtics fans have as well. So I don't see the disrespect and the hate really coming for Neemias, because even last season, there was a multitude of people that were coming at Luke Cornett's head for not getting that, for getting player time over Neemias, saying Neemias is more athletic, Neemias is better, Neemias can be this better fit. And now when Neemias has a bad game, fans want to outrage and completely turn their back on Neemias, saying he's not an NBA caliber role player. He's not a guy that can play these minutes. Guys, you need to calm down. Neemias is a guy that can play those minutes. He's a guy that can do it. Should a player like Luke Cornett maybe have gotten that insertion? Yes. Did I say that on Blue Sky, where I said in some matchups in which one of your centers isn't looking the best, you need to switch and you need to make an adjustment? Bringing in Luke would be better for sure. And what could have Luke done as an inserted piece for this team? Well, I do know that obviously Neemias is a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more high energy. So going up against some bigs like Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, who are going to be dominant on that glass, is key. And for a player like Luke Cornett, he's not going to control the glass against some of those players. He's not going to be as aggressive, so it'd be a little bit harder. But I do think that a player in Luke Cornett would be sound enough to play some solid defense and still get that opportunity versus some of these bigs. Tillman, a little bit harder to play in this matchup, as they're not really a small ball team and can't really use the ability to switch as much. But a player like Luke Cornett, I definitely thought should have gotten some running time in that third quarter to see how he would have worked in and fit in. But I do agree with Joe Mazzulla that Neemias does need this kind of playing through mistake time to kind of realize what he can be for the Celtics squad and ultimately live up to that potential of being a backup center in the NBA. And I think that it is very possible. I just think it's going to come with time, and Celtics fans need to not overreact. If the Celtics had lost this game for the Cavaliers and the Cavaliers had gone 16-0, it would have been disappointing. It would have been deflating, 100% for sure, but it wouldn't have been the end of the season. This wouldn't have put in the Cavaliers as the top tier team in the Eastern Conference. It wouldn't have put them in some top tier echelon that would have made them untouchable. It would have just said that the Cavaliers beat the Boston Celtics. They were a dominant team, and they are the top of the East. But then once they started going on a skid, once they started losing games eventually, when the Celtics did pass them, that conversation would be immediately erased. So no need to be having those conversations. But let me know what you think down below in the comment section on Neemias, and let me know what you guys think on Luke Cornett. But ultimately, before we get to the last part, I want to let you know I want to know what you guys would like to see. So drop down your thoughts down below in the comment section. Like I said, we have seen the run of Al Horford, who's been absolutely fantastic for this Boston Celtics squad throughout the season, really stepping up as that. People want to say Peyton Pritchard's that sixth man, but truly for this squad, Al Horford being that guy off the bench, that veteran for this Celtics team, he is needed. And without Kristaps Porziņģis, he is specifically needed. And if we did not have Al Horford and we only had Kristaps Porziņģis, this Celtics team would be in a little bit of a rut, running with Neemias Queta, running with Luke Cornett, running with Xavier Tillman as their bigs. Al Horford saves the Celtics in so many ways, being that veteran and wanting to stay long-term with the Celtics team, regardless in the role. He wants to help the Celtics win. Now, with Neemias Queta, like I mentioned, a young player who's gotten an increased role with the Celtics team in the small minutes at the beginning of the year, where he really shined out. And I truly think that Joe, Brad, and fans, including myself, are really believing in a player in Queta to really turn up and be this big that a lot of fans are hyping up on. I know myself, I've said he reminds me a little bit of Robert Williams type-esque. A lot of fans are saying, don't compare him to Rob, but I'm going to say that he can be that type of lob threat like Rob, has some Rob similarities, might not be a full-on Rob Williams, but has the possibility to have some Rob Williams tendencies. And when you look at a player, Luke Cornett, unfortunately, did not get any run in that game, but is a player that I think should get some run. And my kind of concern with Joe is kind of getting these guys their run in certain matchups. And that's where I kind of said is ultimately with Kristaps Porziņģis being out, with having to have Al Horford, players like Tillman, Cornette, and Kata are going to have to get different playing times. And I ultimately think with giving each of them their strong suit, it will be best. Tillman going against some smaller squads, going up against some teams that will utilize switching off the pick and roll, when going up against teams that need a bigger body, obviously looking at Kata and Luke and kind of ultimately realizing what we need. If we need a high energy guy, a guy that's going to rim protect, shot block, going to be aggressive, maybe look at a name as Kata. But if we're looking for a guy to pass the ball around, be a guy in the paint to drop and kick out to the 3-point line to find those guys, grab rebounds, and be a little bit of a rim protector, but at a slower pace, then I think, and kind of slow the game down a bit, that's when I think you look at a player in Luke Cornette. But ultimately, I think all three of these bigs can fit in well. Unfortunately, we haven't really seen much from Xavier Tillman with this team, hasn't been gifted that opportunity, and it might be just because these other bigs have looked a little bit better. But I would like to kind of see what Tillman can bring for this Celtics squad as well. Kind of see where he can fit in and find his role within the Celtics unit. But let me know what you guys think. Like I said, once again, the Celtics beat the Cavaliers. Absolutely fantastic game, snapping their 15-game win streak. And the Celtics are now looking at the top of the East once again with grins on their face, ready to take the crown. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Once again, the Celtics got a couple days off before they play once again versus the Wizards on Friday. It will be once again another NBA Cup game. The Celtics are 1-1. We are going to be straying away from the watch along lives, but we will be doing something a little bit different here on the channel. So I believe the way that we're going to be doing things now is post-game videos and post-game lives, depending on the type of game. If it's a close one, maybe goes to overtime, we'll go live, watch overtime together, kind of debrief, do that type of thing. I want to kind of gauge it. If it's a close game, if it's a good game, we'll go live after the game, type of that. But if it's just a normal game when the Celtics win by 20 or 30, we'll just pop out a video, get your guys' reactions, letting us know what you think. And we're going to still do the streams, but we're going to translate the streams again from being watch-along streams to once a week type of streams. So kind of getting a little bit of a streaming community here, doing a specific stream on a set day at a certain time, kind of just going over throughout the season, obviously, things that we need to discuss, things we need to look at, and possibly having some guests as well. I definitely want to incorporate some. We've already had some brilliant guests over here on Celtics Digest. Luckily enough to have Adam Taylor, luckily enough to have the guys from How About Them Celtics and Jack Simone and Sam LaFrance, and obviously shout out to our boy Nick NBA, King Nick over on Twitter, who have been absolutely fantastic to join in and hopping on our streams and stuff like that. So if you guys want to see more of that, maybe getting some more people as well, drop down who you'd like to see. We can possibly get those in the works. Let me know what you guys think down below, because that's something I think would be really, really interesting, is doing more of those types of streams instead of the watch along, so I can live tweet, focus on that while I also still get you guys your content. But let me know what you think down below in the comment section. I know I went a little bit of a rant there, so if you still are at this point in the video, I do appreciate you, and let me know what you guys think about the streaming and stuff down below in the comments. But you guys have been absolutely fantastic. I'm Bruce Veliz. Have a great rest of your day, and go Boston Celtics. Peace out, y'all.